The galaxy was no longer silent. Every day, new systems lit up with signs of resistance. Messages flew through secret channels. Small planets that once hid in fear were rising. The Eltari hive core had not been destroyed, but it had been damaged. More importantly, it had been shaken, and all because of one human mind. Elias Ward stood on the platform of the Accord Council Hall. It floated above a blue-green planet in neutral space, protected by fleets, guarded by dozens of species. The hall was full now. For the first time in centuries, even the silent Kureths had sent a speaker. Varia stood beside Elias. Her armor shone. Her presence was respected, not pitied. 1,000 eyes of different shapes, sizes and colors, watched Elias as he stepped up. He cleared his throat. I'm not a soldier. I'm not even really a hero. I didn't plan this. I didn't want this. But I'm here now, because we don't have any other choice. A murmur went through the hall. The Eltari aren't just machines or invaders. They are ideas. They believe order is the only way. That feelings, art, confusion, and choice are weaknesses. But we've shown them chaos is strength. Humanity is proof of that. He paused, looking around. They thought we were small. They thought we were new. But Earth is awake now. We're not running anymore. Silence followed. Then the Kureth speaker rose and clicked his stone fingers once, a symbol of agreement, one by one. Others followed. The galaxy was united for the first time in 1,000 years. The humans called it the Fire Line Offensive. Over the next few months, new fleet was built led by Earth mines and alien machines. Project Discord became an army of mental defense units. Not just weapons, but shields of thought, able to block Eltari control. Elias was promoted, though he hated the title, Mind Marshal. Vera took command of the Vanguard Flamer royal flagship. She refused to be called princess anymore. I lost my crown, she said, but I found something stronger, a reason to fight. Together, they led the final push. The Eltari responded. They sent drones by the millions, logic bombs, memory storms. Cities vanished overnight. But the Accord held the line. On one key world, Dratha, the 9th Eltari deployed a massive signal tower, trying to overwrite all minds. Elias arrived in time, linked with 3 other humans, and launched a synchronized Discord pulse that turned the tower into a fountain of glitching code. One Kree ambassador shouted, "The humans are madness made flesh." Elias just smiled. "We're just warming up." But victory was never easy. In one dark corner of the war, Vera was captured. Her ship was taken down near a starforge, and the Eltari dragged her into the logic web, trying to rewrite her memories. They failed, because in her heart, she carried one unbreakable thought. Elias Ward, that bond so strange, so illogical, was stronger than the Eltari had expected. They could not erase love. They could not control it. She escaped. She came back changed, scarred, but not broken. That day, she and Elias finally shared a kiss beneath the stars. No words, just silence and understanding. The final battle came near the Eclipse Core, the last and oldest Eltari control node. Hidden inside a hollow star, the fleet gathered thousands of ships from 100 races. At the center, the Astronomad, repaired and upgraded, ready for one final run. Elias sat in the Discord chair, his mind already syncing with the Pulse network. Around him were memories of home, Earth skies, New York streets, soft music from an old cafe. "Are you ready?" Virea asked. He nodded. "Let's end this." The battle was brutal. Waves of Eltari ships attacked like metal insects. The Accord responded with precision and fury. Inside the Nomad, Elias activated the beacon again, but this time with a full network of human minds behind him. Hundreds of thoughts, dreams, fears, and hopes filled the signal. They reached the Eclipse Core, and it began to crack. The Eltari hive shuddered. Its logic loop failed. Instead of order, it heard confusion. Instead of commands, it heard music. Instead of silence, it heard laughter. For the first time in history, the Eltari stopped. Some tried to fight, others simply shut down. Many fled, and some began to ask questions. Their core idea had been broken. They were no longer sure if order was the only way. The war ended, not with total victory, but with doubt. The galaxy could breathe again. Weeks later, Leah stood on Earth, in a green field outside a small village. The sky was blue. Children ran through the grass. Birds sang. It was quiet. Vera stood beside him wearing simple clothes. She looked up at the sun and smiled. "Your world is loud," she said. "Yours was quiet," Elias replied. "But I think," she said softly, "I like the noise." They sat under a tree. No weapons, no war, just peace. At last, and though the galaxy still held darkness, still held danger, a spark had been lit that could never be undone. The Iltari had seen something they could never unsee. The power of confusion, the strength of chaos, the madness of being human. And in that madness, the galaxy found its hope. The station was no longer silent. After Elias Ward's mental pulse had forced the Iltari drone ship to retreat, everything had changed. Aliens who once looked at him with doubt now nodded with respect. Scientists studied every detail of the project. Discord signal. Viria walked with pride once more, no longer a fallen princess, but a symbol of rebellion. But everyone knew one thing. This was not a victory. It was a warning. The Iltari would return. Stronger, smarter, an angry commander. Commanded the leaders of the remaining free species in the war room. A galaxy map floated above the round table. Whole sectors blinked red. More and more lights went dark each week. Elias sat near Vera. He still wore his translator earpiece, though he was slowly learning some alien languages. He had even started dreaming in broken Zevithar phrases. "This is the situation," Toker said. "Iltari have begun reorganizing their fleets. Our spies tell us they're building something massive near the Void Line." "The Void Line?" Elias asked. Vera leaned in. "It's a border between galaxies, a dead zone, no light, no signals. Many believe it was where the Iltari first evolved." Another representative spoke. "They are forming a hive-core node there. It may allow them to rewrite entire systems at once." "You mean like whole solar systems?" Elias asked. "Yes," Vera said. "Once they activate that core, every star near it could become a transmitter. They would control thought across thousands of light years." "We can't let that happen," Elias said, "but what can we do?" Toker turned toward him. "We fight, and this time humans lead." Over the next 2 weeks, preparations began. A new ship was built for Elias and Viritha, Astronomad. It was fast. It cloaked. And equipped with an improved Discord pulse core, it would be the first Earth-flagged ship to fly under the Accord. More. Humans were brought from Earth scientists, hackers, thinkers, even poets. Anyone whose minds could think outside the pattern. The Accord called them Chaos Wielders. Training began. Vera taught Elias how to use the ship's interface, how to speak with other species, and how to use thought tech tools. Powered by emotion and intention, not buttons, you must learn to control your storms. She told him one night during meditation, "'Cause in the battle to come, your mind will be your sword." Soon, a plan was formed. The Accord fleet would launch a diversion near the Triner Gate, pulling Iltari attention away. While they fought, Elias and Vera would fly deep into the Void Line and plant a mind-shatter beacon inside the Iltari hive core. If activated, the beacon would send a Discord pulse powerful enough to infect the entire Iltari logic chain. Not destroy them, but break their perfection. Make them question, hesitate, feel it could give the galaxy. It's time to rise, or fail, and alert the enemy. The day of departure came. The Astronomad hovered in the station's docking bay, glowing softly like a ghost. It was shaped like a manta recurved, silent, deadly. Virea stood beside Elias, wearing her royal armor. She had returned to her full strength, no longer a desperate princess, but a warrior queen. Elias wore a simple neural suit designed to amplify his mental patterns. Around his neck hung a small stone earth granite, a reminder of home. "Are you ready?" she asked. "No," he said. "But I'm going anyway." She smiled. "That's what makes you human." They launched. The ship flew like wind, slipping through warp lines, dodging black holes, moving faster than light. They passed broken worlds, drifting cities, and systems where only silence remained. At one point, they passed an old Earth Pro Voyager, 3 still floating after centuries. Elias stared at it through the window. That was one of our first dreams, he said, and now you're chasing bigger ones. Varia replied. Finally, they reached the edge of the void line. It was terrifying. A black wall in space. No stars, no light, like the edge of existence. Instruments failed, signals died. Even sound inside the ship seemed quieter. This is it, Elias whispered. They crossed the line, inside the void line. Reality changed. The stars behind them vanished. Ahead, only shadows moved huge, slow, like sleeping gods. The Eltari hive core floated in the center. It was not a ship. It was a construct of thought and code, wrapped around a captured black hole. Dozens of arms stretched from it, made of data, light, and dark metal. Vera pointed. That is where we plant the beacon. Deep in the core's logic chamber, the ship moved in silently, cloaked, but the Eltari were not blind. As they approached, a whisper filled the ship. Chaos detected. Lights flickered. The controls trembled. The Eltari had sensed Elias. They're inside the ship, Vera said. We must hurry. They reached the logic chamber. Elias grabbed the bacana, small cube pulsing with unstable energy. But then, a shadow formed in front of them. It's an Eltari sentinel. It had no face, just a smooth mask of light. Its voice echoed without sound. Your mind is poison. We must erase. Virea drew her blade. We will not touch him. The Eltari attacked. Virea moved like fire, striking fast. But the sentinel was strong, faster than anything they had fought before. Elias ran past them, toward the heart of the chamber. The beacon shook in his hand. He had to do it now. He placed it into the slot and screamed. His mind opened. Thoughts poured into the hive core. It's not just hizzle of Earth. Memories, feelings, music, jokes, fear, love, loss. Everything. The hive core reacted violently. The chamber turned red. Eltari patterns twisted. Signals clashed. Elias collapsed, screaming. Vera ran to him and held his head. Focus, she shouted. Breathe. He remembered his father's voice. His mother's cooking. His dog's bark. His old teacher's laugh. All of it. And the Eltari felt it all. Pain, emotion, chaos. For the first time in eons. They hesitated. The astronomad fled just as the core began to fold in on itself. The beacon had worked behind them. The hive core darkened. Not destroyed, but broken. Slowed. Confused, the Eltari would still return. But now they knew fear. Elias lay in bed on the ship, weak but alive. Viraya sat beside him, holding his hand. You did it, she said softly. He looked at her. Did we win? No, she said. But we lit the fire. He smiled faintly, then let it burn. Earth spun slowly below the stars, beautiful and unaware. But above the planet, on the ancient space station near the broken moon, everything had changed. Dr. Elias Ward stood beside Princess Virea in the strategy room of the Free Species Alliance. Base around them, glowing maps of the galaxy floated in the air. Red zones marked the territory taken by the Eltari. More red appeared every day. We're losing, said Commander Tokra, a tall, insect-like alien with long arms and deep, green eyes. Every week, another system falls. We send warnings, but no one listens. The Eltari offer peace first, then turn entire worlds into code. Vera nodded. That is why we must act before Earth becomes the next target. But Earth isn't ready, Elias said. We don't have space fleets. We don't even have a single warship that could handle your kind of technology. Commander Tokara clicked his mandibles. No, but Earth has something else. Something that may be more powerful than weapons. Elias raised an eyebrow. What? Virea turned to him. Later that day, Virea took Elias to the lab section of the station. Scientists from different species were studying something that looked like liquid light trapped in glass tubes. Virea explained it was Eltari code essence data pulled from broken hive drones. It's dangerous, she warned. This is how the Iltari spread. Through this light, they send commands into minds and machines. A Zevethar scientist stepped forward, holding a small cube. We ran a test. We exposed this human's brain data, taken during his Sleep 2 Iltari code. The result was strange. Elias frowned. You scanned my brain while I was asleep? You snore, Vera said with a smirk. We had time. The scientist showed the results. Most species, when exposed to Iltari code, showed high synchronization. Their brainwaves were copied, overwritten, turned predictable. But Elias's brain data was different. It did not sync. In fact, it rejected the Iltari signal completely. Even worse for the Iltari, it corrupted the code. This is impossible, the scientist whispered. His mind broke the pattern. He introduced chaos into their signal. Virea looked at Elias. Do you know what this means? I think so, he said slowly. It means I'm like a virus to them. The lab team worked fast. With Verera's help, they built a prototype, a device that could convert human mental patterns into a kind of signal, a weapon made from thought. They called it Project Discord. It wasn't a bomb. It wasn't a gun. It's more like a bakuna. Pulse of pure human chaos broadcast into the Iltari network. If they could build a strong enough version, they might be able to send it deep into the Iltari hive mind. If it worked, it would break the perfect order of the Iltari and cause mass confusion. But there was one problem. It needs a live human brain to activate, said the scientist. No simulation can do it. It has to be real. Random thought. Elias looked at the device. You mean I have to sit in this thing and think crazy thoughts? Exactly, Vera said. Your mind is the key. Elias sighed. So, basically, the fate of the galaxy depends on me being unpredictable and weird. You've been doing that quite well so far, she said with a smile that night. Elias sat alone in his quarters, thinking about what lay ahead. He had no training, no army, no armor. He wasn't a soldier. He was a scholar, a language nerd from Colorado. And now he was supposed to become a mental weapon? He looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Iltari were watching. Waiting, his thoughts were interrupted by a soft knock. Vera entered, holding 2 cups of warm herbal tea. From her world, you look troubled, she said. Just thinking, he replied. You know, about saving the galaxy with brain noise? Virea sat beside him. It's strange, isn't it? The smartest races fell first. The most advanced machines were the easiest to hack. But humans, you're full of doubt, emotion, and conflict. That's what makes you dangerous to them. We're not special, Elias said. And we fight each other. We pollute our planet. Half of Earth still doesn't believe aliens exist. Virea looked into his eyes. You don't have to be perfect to matter. You just have to be willing to fight. The next morning, alarms rang across the station. An Iltari drone ship had entered the sector. It was massive, dark, like a shadow, with long arms reaching out like spider legs. It didn't fire weapons. It just hovered in silence. They know we're here, Vera said. They came for me. No, Elias said, his heart sinking. They came for Earth. The station's defense grid activated, but it wouldn't last long against an Iltari vessel. Virea turned to Elias. We must test Project Discord now, but we're not ready. There is no time. If the Iltari learn Earth is protected by a Discord source, they may back off, or at least slow down. Elias nodded. Let's do it. The scientist activated the device. Elias sat in a padded chair with glowing rings around his head. Electrodes touched his temples. The room was silent, except for the hum of the machine. Ready? Virea asked. No, Elias said. But go anyway. They powered it on. Suddenly, Elias felt something strange, like a light inside his head. Thoughts moved faster. Memories, emotions, random images. His brain became a storm. He thought about pizza, about his dog as a kid, about that embarrassing time in school when he forgot his lines in a play, he imagined. A chicken riding a spaceship? Remember the smell of rain, the sound of his mother's voice, the fear of failing? All of it all, the mess became data. The machine amplified it, and it screamed into space. The Iltari ship shuddered, its smooth surface rippled. Lights blinked rapidly. One of its long arms twisted and collapsed. Then another. The entire vessel began to shake, as if having a seizure. In the command room, the station crew stared in shock. "It's working," said Tok'ra. "Their signal. It's failing." Vera watched the screen. They've never faced this before. The Iltari ship backed away. Slowly it turned. Then it jumped to light speed dash retreating. Elias removed the headset, sweating and exhausted. "Did it work?" Vera smiled. "It did more than that. You made a god bleed." Later, as the crew celebrated, Virea and Elias stood alone near the main viewing window. "You just stopped an Iltari ship," she said. "With your brain," Elias laughed weakly. "I always knew my thoughts were dangerous, but this is just the beginning," she said. "Now they know about Earth, about you. They will not stop. Next time they'll come in force." "We get ready," Elias said. "We train more humans. We build more of these devices. We turn our chaos into a weapon. You're not afraid?" "I'm terrified," he said honestly. "But fear means we understand the risk. That's better than walking into darkness with our eyes closed." Above them, the stars twinkled as always. But now, something had changed. The Iltari were no longer invincible. The galaxy had found a new kind of warrior, not born for battle, not made of steel or coat, but full of doubt, love, memory, and madness. A human, and the war had only just begun. The ship moved silently through space. Dr. Elias Ward stared out the window, still in shock. Just hours ago, he was on Earth drinking coffee. Now he was floating above the planet, sitting beside an alien princess who claimed to be humanity's last hope. Princess Vera sat at the control panel. Her fingers moved across glowing buttons. Her silver blue skin shimmered under the soft lights of the cockpit. She looked calm, but Elias knew she was hiding her fear. "Where are we going?" he asked. "To a neutral sector," she replied. "A hidden base near the edges of known space. It's controlled by what's left of the Free Species Alliance." "The what?" "A group of civilizations who refused the Iltari rule. Now, only fragments remain. I must speak with the Galactic Court before it collapses completely." Elias shook his head. "You're telling me there's a space government out there? Like a council?" "Yes. It used to have real power," she said, her voice growing soft. "Now it's just words and ashes." As they traveled, the ship passed stars Elias had only read about. Some glowed brightly. Others looked strange, dimmed, or flickering like dying candles. "Why do some of those stars look wrong?" he asked. Virea's face turned grim. "Those are dead systems, taken by the Iltari. When they conquer a world, they rewrite its star." "Rewrite?" "They infect the sun's core with quantum seeds. The light becomes coded. Any signal, any wave that leaves that system carries Iltari influence. It spreads like a virus." Elias leaned forward, eyes wide. "They infect stars? They are not just machines. They are data beings. They live in code. And they use light to spread their reach." After many hours, they arrived at a strange-looking space station floating near a broken moon. It was shaped like a massive ring, spinning slowly with pieces missing. Old flags hung inside the docking bay, symbols of different alien races. Most of them unfamiliar to Elias Stott. Guards met them at the gate, tall lizard-like beings with golden armor. They scanned Virea, then stepped aside without a word. Elias noticed how their eyes flicked toward him with curiosity. Inside, the station felt ancient. Walls were cracked. Lights flickered. It was once beautiful, but now it was dying. They entered a round chamber with a wide platform in the center. Around it were seats, thrones, and floating pods where representatives of various alien races sat in silence. Elias counted maybe 20, though many chairs were empty. Virea stepped forward and raised her voice. "I, Princess Vera of the Zevethar Ascendancy, request emergency judgment from the Galactic Court under Article 11 of the Accord." A tall, thin alien with crystal skin leaned forward. His voice sounded like chimes. "You were thought dead." "Princess, I escaped," she said. But the Iltari have taken our system. I now declare a protection pact with this human Dr. Elias Ward of Earth, as per the law. Earth now qualifies for Accord status. Whispers broke out around the chamber. One floating jellyfish-like being pulsed rapidly, which Elias guessed was. Some kind of shocked reaction, the crystal alien asked. Do you understand the weight of this bond, human? Elias stepped forward nervously. I think so. She said it means Earth can't be invaded. Not legally. But the Iltari do not always follow laws anymore, the alien said. Still, your planet will now be watched. Another representative? A short, furry creature with 4 arms said, this changes everything. If humans are resistant to Iltari code, they might be the key we've needed. Virea nodded. Exactly. That's why I came to Earth. The Iltari's hive logic cannot control human minds. Their virus doesn't work on your species. Elias looked confused. Wait, why? Because you're unpredictable, Vera said. Your minds are chaotic, irrational. You don't follow patterns like other species. To the Iltari, you're noise. And noise is dangerous. The court grew silent. Then the crystal alien stood. This court accepts the bond. Earth is now under Accord protection. But we warn you, the Iltari will not stop. They may not attack Earth directly, but they will find ways to bypass the law. They will test your strength, Elias asked. Then what do we do? You prepare, Vera said. You train, you build, and you fight. But Earth isn't ready for this. We argue about everything. We don't even agree if aliens are real. And we change that, she said. With your help, I will show your leaders the truth. After the court meeting, Vera took Elias to a private chamber. The room was small but clean, with a bed and a view of the stars. You should rest, she said. Tomorrow we speak to Earth's leaders. Elias sat on the bed, rubbing his face. Why me, Virea? Why not land in New York? Or talk to the president? Because you listened. Because you didn't try to shoot me or run. You helped me. He smiled a little. I guess I was too shocked to be scared. She gave a small smile in return. Doubt is normal, but courage is rare, and I need courage. He looked out at the stars. So what now? You want me to speak for humanity? Now? Yes, she said. The Accord sees you as my bondmate, which gives you diplomatic power. You represent Earth until your people choose another. Elias laughed nervously. Great, no pressure. That night, Elias couldn't sleep. He thought about Earth as home, about how little people knew, about how everything had just changed. He opened his notebook and began writing. Earth is no longer alone. We are now part of a greater war, a war of light, data, and minds. And somehow, we may be the only species that can win it. The next day, a secure channel was opened to Earth. Virea helped translate and protect the signal from Iltari detection. Elias sat before the screen, where a group of Earth's top leaders appeared confused, angry and skeptical. He spoke carefully. He explained everything. The Iltari, the court, the bond. He told them about humanity's unique resistance and Vireza's warning. At first, they didn't believe him. Then Virea spoke, and her translator orb showed them proof images, data, even a live view of the space court. The leaders grew quiet. One asked, "What do you want from us?" Vera said, "To survive, you must prepare, share knowledge, work together, and trust Elias. He speaks with my authority." Another asked, "Why Earth? Why now?" Elias answered, "Because the universe is burning, and we might be the last light that can stop it." After the meeting, Virea turned to Elias. They listened. "That's a start," he nodded. "They're scared. But maybe that's good." She looked out at the stars again. The galaxy will either change or end. And I believe Earth will decide which. He stood beside her. Then let's make sure it's the right choice. Together, they watched. As Earth turned slowly below them, a small, fragile world now standing between freedom and total control. The real fight had not begun yet, but the spark had been lit. It was a quiet evening in the Colorado mountains. The sky was painted with orange and pink. A soft wind moved through the pine trees. Dr. Elias Ward sat on the porch of his cabin. sipping coffee and reading a dusty old book on alien linguistics. He wasn't expecting anything unusual. Dart. After all, aliens were just theory, something people discussed on forums, not in real life. But everything changed with one strange sound. A high-pitched tone filled the air. Not loud, but sharp, like metal. Singing. His old radio set, one he hadn't touched in months, turned on by itself. Lights blinked. A gay voice, mechanical yet soft, began to speak in a language he didn't know. But something about it felt familiar. Elias stood up. He walked slowly to the radio, heart beating faster. He grabbed his notebook and quickly scribbled down what he heard. The tone stopped. Silence returned. Then the sky split. A bright flash lit up the mountains, followed by a thunderous boom. Something fell from the sky, fast and burning. It crashed not far from his cabin. The ground shook and birds flew out of the trees in panic. Elias dropped his coffee. His instincts told him to run, but curiosity pulled him in. 20 minutes later, he reached the crash site. A silver ship, shaped like a crescent moon, lay half buried in the hillside. Steam hissed from its surface. Blue lights blinked slowly, as if the ship was breathing. He saw strange symbols on the hull glowing slightly in the dark. The hatch opened, smoke spilled out, and from the shadows, a figure stepped forward. She was tall, slim, and unlike anything Elias had ever seen. Her skin was a soft silver blue, her hair long and glowing like white fire. She wore a torn robe, elegant but damaged. Her eyes, violet and deep, locked onto his. She stumbled and fell to her knees. "You," she said, her voice echoing in his mind rather than his ears. "You are human?" Elias nodded, unsure what to say. "I am Vera, princess of the Zevathar ascendancy," she said, coughing. "I come in desperation. I bind myself to your service. Take me, protect me. Please." Elias blinked. Did she just say, "You want me to take you as a servant?" "It is the old law," she said, bowing her head. "A royal fugitive may pledge herself to a foreign protector. By doing so, she makes that world part of the Great Accord. They cannot invade you." "Not without facing the Galactic Court," Elias frowned. "Wait, who is they, the Iltari? Machines that eat minds and enslave species. They destroyed my world. They're coming for yours." Elias helped her up. She was weak but proud. He led her back to his cabin, where she sat by the fire, sipping water. Her translator orb floated beside her, glowing softly. It hummed as it adapted to English. "You speak many languages," Vera noted. "I study them," Elias replied. "Dead ones. Alien ones. Until today, I thought none of them were real. They were. Many of them are no more." She looked into the fire, her face distant. Elias could see pain in her eyes. It's not just physical pain, but something deeper. Loss. Maybe guilt. "My father refused the Iltari's offer. They gave him a choice. Join or vanish. He chose honor. So they erased our son Elias, sat down across from her. And now you're here? Asking for what, exactly?" Vera turned her gaze to him. "I give you my loyalty. It's my title, my protection treaty. I offer my life. In return, I ask sanctuary and a chance to fight back." Elias couldn't believe what he was hearing. He was just a linguist, a quiet man in a quiet place. How did he suddenly become part of a galactic power play? Suddenly, the translator orb beeped. A red light blinked. "Someone is tracking me," Vera said, standing up quickly. They followed the escape pod. A deep filled the air outside. Elias ran to the window and saw a dark triangle shape hovering above the trees. It didn't make a sound, but its presence was terrifying. "They're here?" Elias asked. "No, that is a probe," she replied. "Tari scouts. If they confirm I'm here, Earth's protection status may end." "What do we do?" Vera took his hand. "We run." Together, they ran back to the crash site. The ship was still damaged, but partially active. Elias helped Vera inside, watching as she pressed glowing symbols on a panel. The ship hummed, lights flickering to life. The probe outside began to descend. "Hurry," she said. "Where are we going?" "Off-world. For now, Earth must remain hidden. If you agree to my bond, the Iltari cannot touch this planet openly. But if they know I'm here, they'll find another way." Elias took a deep breath. "I don't understand all of this, but if what you're saying is true, fine. Let's go." The ship lifted into the air with a smooth rise. The trees below shrank. The probe tried to follow, but Virea pressed a button and a sharp burst of light hit it, disabling it in seconds. "We have a few hours before they send more." They flew silently through the atmosphere, stars appearing around them. In orbit, Elias saw Earth from space for the first time. It was beautiful, blue, and fragile. Virea looked at it too. "Your world is not ready. But it might be the only one that can stop them." He turned to her. "Why? Why come to us?" She gave a soft smile. "Because humans are the only species the Iltari cannot predict. You are chaotic, wild, and in that there is power." Elias leaned back in his seat. He had so many questions. But he knew one thing for sure. His life would never be the same again, and maybe, just maybe, humanity's time had come.